integrity of the investigations is maintained, right?
Yes.
So that then gets activated. The minister's office engages with the inspectorate and they take it further. So they request your dockets in order to look at the dockets, to make an assessment, to see whether there has been interception, and then they make an assessment of the merits of the docket. What's the problem there?
The problem again is we've got a fully functional SAPS in the Western Cape. Fully functional. I'm sure that the inspectorate has branches right there in the Western Cape. I'm saying to you that in my view, and I'm a layman at this, those dockets should never have ended up in Pretoria. And maybe we must get an expert to consult to advise us on this. I'm just confused.
No, but how can you say they should not have ended up in Pretoria? You've escalated the matter to Pretoria. You've taken it out of Cape Town to Orlando and Langlaagte, and then you escalate it to the minister. How can you then say they should not have ended up? Otherwise, how does National investigate your complaint to the minister? So you've got a complaint to the minister. What did you expect to happen when you tell the minister, my dockets have been intercepted both in Cape Town and in Gauteng?
May I?
Yes.
I expected the minister to take some type of action, and I'm not prescribing the action to him. What upsets me about, not upsets, what confuses me about all of this is I'm asking for an investigation. I'm alleging that my dockets have disappeared or been confiscated. Nobody notifies me of this. I mean, but let's leave it at that. I'm not that important. However, when those dockets are transferred to Pretoria, how much investigation can be done? So when they come back and they say to me that the information is scarce, it's because I'm sitting with the information that needs to be attached. Now, again, Commissioner, there's no communication. The dockets
I'm discussing, sorry, allow me to interrupt you. I'm discussing a different point with you. There's a thread in how you deal with that the dockets ended up with General Jacobs in a safe, and it's clear what you've been suggesting about it, something sinister about that, and I'm engaging you on that you've escalated a complaint to the minister. What is sinister about the fact that now your complaint about dockets disappearing is being dealt with at National? Of course, they have to get the dockets from Cape Town. They have to get the dockets from Orlando to look at what you are complaining about. Why do you suggest that something is sinister about that?
If I may.
Yes.
So where I'm at, Commissioner, and if this makes any sense to you, I'm not aware that Peter Jacobs' office is looking at this. The colonel who called me never told me he works in that office. He said, I'm from the inspectorate. I thought it was Western Cape. And this is why I never took the meeting with him. Because this investigation is going to get going. In my head, I don't care who's trying to sabotage it. So when I see this now, and I see there's an admission in the paper that we have the docket, I wasn't aware of any of this. Now, what could have avoided all of this confusion is I've always had a very cordial and respectful relationship with General Patikile. He's always had my number, I've always had his. He could have called me and said, hey, Boetie, you're on the wrong track here. That call never happened. There was no communication.
Yesterday you said you don't trust him.
No.
We are past that. Yesterday your evidence was you did not trust him. When Ms. Ncube said to you, how do you take the word of a retired general who's not in the police over that of a provincial commissioner that he will investigate your matter? You said, well, I was suspicious of him. I didn't trust him. So I think let's get past your relationship and your views about General Patekile. The issue now, and I thought we are getting to closing it, that now that you know, maybe you didn't know at the time, now that you know that your complaint to the minister was escalated to a point where now General Jacobs, the inspectorate, who's at National, is in looking into the matter, because now you've got the records in front of you, are you prepared to accept that this is perhaps another case where you acted and formed views actually too quickly without the facts? You're blaming it on communication. Maybe they should have told you and they did not, but now that you see that in fact there was an investigation following your escalation, that the suggestion that there was something sinister about these dockets being with General Jacobs is in fact incorrect or even unfair to him? You may comment.
I just first want to say that Commissioner Kumalo is smiling at me, which makes me worried. And then I want to say that I see it on paper, can't dispute it. I say it again, Commissioner, an email or a telephone call. And also, I will not dispute the fact that I said I didn't trust General Patikile. But if he had sent me an email saying this thing is being investigated by the Office of X, Y, and Z, I would have had proof of something, tangible proof, and I wouldn't have moved. But none of that happened, and that just made me more suspicious of anything.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for bringing that part.
Just to be sure, so you say the relationship between you and General Patekile was cordial?
It was.
It was. Will you be going to the Section 27 referral affidavit that we have?
Yes, Chief.
All right, thank you.
I just want, Mr. Adams, I think Ms. Ngube will take you through this affidavit of Colonel Phillips, but you will see as you go through it, they were trying to call you to explain why they want to speak to you about the docket. So if you go through the affidavit, you'll see that there were attempts to call you and explain all of these things. But the long short of this is that the reason there was no interception of dockets. One, the only reason the dockets ended up in Pretoria is because there was an investigation of a complaint that you had laid with the minister's office. And there were people who then needed to report to the minister at 48 hours notice. So they get an email on Friday. They are instructed that by Monday, they must give the minister a comprehensive report dealing with your complaint. And for that purpose, the dockets had to be called so that they could be investigated and a report could be provided to the minister. That's why those dockets ended up where they ended up, not for the reason that you initially advanced, that they were intercepted for sinister reasons. Dockets had to be called to investigate your complaint. That's really what happened. Or at least that's what these documents and these affidavits show. Are you now prepared to accept that, having seen these documents?
I accepted that a few minutes ago, my commissioner. And also, I will not deny that Colonel Phillips attempted to call me on about 4 occasions, and I brushed him off because I didn't trust that. And however, and here's my disclaimer, after the investigation is completed, the dockets are not returned to Cape Town, but that will be my last point on that. We'll walk away from that. Thank you.
Why give him the runaround? Why not just say to him at the outset, listen, I'm not going to cooperate. I want this to be investigated by an independent entity.
You can call Colonel Phillips, or you can bring him here. And I said to him in the beginning, I don't trust this. And he said, no, Mr. Adams, we're the good guys, we'll do this. But you know what? The advice that I had at the time, and I'm not going to say the man was wrong, he said, don't meet with this guy.
Is that General Lincoln again?
Yes, ma'am, but don't meet with this guy.
What independent entity did you have in mind?
It could have been anyone, Commissioner. It could have been the public protector. It could have been the IPID. It could have been the minister could have assigned someone. I didn't suggest anyone. I said an independent body.
Why would it have been the minister who goes to the public protector on your behalf if you felt that you had a complaint to lay with the public protector? Why did you not go to the public protector yourself?
That's actually a valid question, and I suppose if I didn't get any joy out of the minister, that would have been my next step.
Actually, it wasn't, because you then send your email on the 10th of November to the minister saying you're not happy with the process. Have it, page 58.
Sorry, just to follow up on what I asked you. So if, as you approach the minister, what you have in mind is some independent entity, and you have specific ones in your mind, what did you expect the minister to do? Did you expect the minister to go to the public protector on your behalf, or to go to IPID on your behalf? Because you say right from the onset, what you had in mind was something independent. So did you expect the minister to go to those independent entities on your behalf? And if that is so, why should the minister have done that on your behalf? What mandate does he have to do that on your behalf? Yes, please.
Thank you. The way you frame it now, it actually makes me consider my response, Commissioner. But I was pleading for help here from the highest authority in the country within the SAPS.
But you already knew, from what you say, you already knew that you did not want SAPS to do this, and that what you had in mind was an independent entity. So why must the minister do that for you? What mandate did the minister have to do this on your behalf?
He didn't have one, Commissioner.
He didn't have one.
I do concede your point.
So why did you go to the minister?
It was the most obvious door to knock on.
It's not so obvious. It's not so obvious.
It genuinely,
Based on the responses you give now, it was not obvious at all.
to me, it was the logical thing to do, complain with the minister.
But what did you want him to do? Because you say in so many words that what you had in mind was something independent. What did you expect the minister to do?
I actually did expect, the minister to approach like he did with the IDAC or the public protector or whichever commission there was. And I do concede what you're saying.
But if you already have those independent entities in your own mind, you ought to have gone to them yourself. Why must the minister be the one who intercedes on your behalf?
That
doesn't make sense.
That point is accepted, as conceded, Commissioner. I won't argue.
Let me tell you what I think. I think you are not being truthful when you say you expected the minister to go outside of SAPS. I think you're not being truthful. You expected the minister to sort this out for you within SAPS. It's just that now you have difficulties answering the questions put to you by Commissioner Baloyi. That's why you now tell us about expecting some independent entity. Yes.
Commissioner, just to make it easy, because it's seeming disrespectful when I speak over you, when you're done, and if you can just put the light off, then I know I can speak. Sorry, man, because you pause, and I think you're done, and then I want to jump, and then you start. Commissioner, in my first email, I don't mention an independent entity. I'm actually half expecting the minister to use his powers, whatever they may be, to see to it that this stops. But then as in the course of those 10 days, I just get this illusion with all of SAPS, and I say, can we have an independent entity look at this? Now, I understand the way you're framing it right now. It makes me question my own action. But I didn't jump to the minister off the bat and say, get some. No, I did not do that. I asked the minister, we have a problem here. And then as it appeared to me, if I may, my light is still on, as it appeared to me that the problem was bigger than I thought it was getting, I said, Minister, can we just have an independent person or office or institute? I must check the wording. But I didn't ask for, let's say, Saldana SAPS to investigate or the IDAC. Or, I said, can we have an independent body? I think body is the term I use, but I can check the email. But I do consider and concede what you're saying, that I could have been, let me say, more measured in what I did. I will concede to that.
The distinct impression it creates to my mind is that at the time you approached the minister, you never had any idea about either the minister himself or just the possibility of an outside entity being approached. You did not have that in your mind. That's the distinct impression I have. But rather, the problem you are facing now is that you are not able to give an explanation as to your conduct. That's the difficulty you have. And that is why you now give us the answers that you've been given. I will leave it at that.
So there's two processes now that you want the minister to undertake. The one is about your dockets being intercepted. And then the second one is, I don't want my dockets to be investigated by SAPS. It must be investigated by an independent body.
Yes, ma'am.
So your criminal cases must go outside of SAPS. On what basis?
I'm at that stage believe that my documents are being taken.
You haven't given documents yet.
No, the dockets, the case dockets.
Okay, the dockets.
Sorry, not documents, sorry.
Okay. So you believe your dockets have been taken at that stage?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
you've complained to the minister and and he's busy with an investigation. He hasn't come back to you yet and told you the outcome of that investigation.
But at that stage, I'm not aware of an investigation.
No,
But you must be aware because on the exchange with Ms. Ncube, you see there are calls between you and Colonel Phillips. So
Yes.
you are talking and you're making appointments which you don't honor. So between the 1st and the 10th of November, you do become aware that an investigation is happening. Or at least an attempt is being made to sit down with you about those dockets.
You're like, just to clarify, Colonel Phillips never told me that he was from the national office. He never told me that he was coming from the office of Lieutenant General Jacobs. And maybe it's not, maybe he didn't need to. I'm under the impression that he's with Western Cape SAPS. I'm also under the impression that Western Cape SAPS are the people that came to come fetch my dockets. This is why I'm saying I'm not aware of the investigation from national.
Yeah, you may not have been aware that it's national that's doing the investigation, but you are aware an investigation is happening. You suspect that Colonel Phillips is from the Western Cape. That's not the point. The point is you do become aware after the 1st of November, or from the 1st of November, you do become aware that there is an investigation because you've referred to the matter for investigation. And yet on the 10th, in fact, in that intervening period, you are the reason that no meeting happens because you are unavailable. You say, I'm unavailable, I'll come back to you. So you're the one that's causing that there's a delay in a sit down with you. And yet on the 10th, you now want an independent body or investigator to investigate when you know there's an investigation.
Commissioner, thank you. Commissioner, I understand that I'm the one that muddied the water. I've got the paperwork in front of me. I understand and I accept that I'm the one that muddied the water. But when Colonel Phillips calls me, I'm under the impression this is part of a cover-up and this is why I don't speak to him. This is why I brushed him off. I don't deny it. I do not. And my faith in the process was if I email the minister or if I put enough pressure on and I was going to take this to Parliament itself, then things will happen. But I promise you now, as I sit here, I had no idea that the office of the national office of the directorate was investigating. I thought it was a Western Cape thing. I thought that the Western Cape office had taken, the provincial office had taken my dockets. I thought this was just going to be part of the cover-up.
No, that cannot be. It simply cannot be. You complained to the minister on the 1st of November. The very following day, you were called by Colonel Phillips.
Colonel Phillips.
Surely, in your mind, it must trigger the idea that I complained yesterday. There's immediate movement. Look at the first entry under the comments. Colonel Phillips has written there that he did an introduction and explained the purpose of the call. No, you are not being truthful,
No.
Mr. Adams. You are not. Bear in mind that the very previous day, you have complained to the minister. Why is it that you cannot think, oh, there's immediate movement? The minister is moving on this. No, you're not being truthful. No.
If I may respond, Chairperson. Colonel Phillips introduced himself to me as Lieutenant Colonel Phillips from, what's the department?
Inspectorate.
Which my understanding is service delivery related. Now, my issue was I didn't know that the minister had involved them because I'm thinking to myself, and I've said it loud in Parliament, I've said it in the portfolio, I didn't lay a service delivery complaint. This is why I wasn't expecting this. And I thought this was just a way to butter me up. And I understand today that my perception was 100% wrong. But I didn't know that the minister had laid a service delivery complaint. I wasn't aware of that. And there was no communication from the minister's office to me to say that we have laid a complaint with the inspectorate. Perhaps you should take the call. Well, not perhaps you should take it, but they didn't inform me of this. So I was just giving this man the brush off, thinking that we'll get to the bottom of this.
No.
Now,
But he says he explained the purpose of the call. He would either be lying or would have told you a wrong purpose of the call. He says he explained the purpose of the call. Look at that entry. So what other purpose could he have stated other than the purpose which related exactly to what you had raised with the minister? What other purpose could he have raised? It's on that basis that I'm saying you are not being truthful, Mr. Adams.
Chairperson, I understand what you're saying. Please understand when I tell you I was fearful of a cover-up and I did not want to meet with this man. That's all. And
Did he or did he not explain the purpose of the call?
he called.
Did he or did he? Look at that entry. He says
Which page is that? Please?
Look at your screen in front of you.
I can't see the light.
3856.
3856.
Thank you. Same file?
It's a file.
9B.
Was it 9B?
9B.
Okay, wait. If I can I move this thing forward? Thank you, because I can't see. There was an introduction.
And
He
then
did?
purpose of call and request for interview.
Yes, sir.
Did he or did he not explain the purpose of the call?
Chairperson, he called me, he introduced himself. He told me that he was going to investigate the dockets. I tell you this, I thought he was from Western Cape SAPS, and he requested the interview. And I thought to myself, well, I didn't even think to myself again. I consulted my friend, whispered. He told me, I'd suggest you don't. I felt I shouldn't. I'm not even going to lay that on
No,
you.
please,
But-
can you please, we don't have all the time in the world. When I ask you a question, please answer the question directly. Did he or did he not explain
He
the
did.
purpose of the call?
He did.
He did?
He did.
What purpose did he tell you the call was about? What purpose?
He said he was calling
Very briefly, please don't stray off onto anything else.
He said he was calling to investigate the docket complaint that I made.
The docket, what?
The dockets that were removed. He was calling to investigate that.
So to you, he spoke about dockets that had been removed.
Yes.
Removed from where?
From Grand Central SAPS. That was the purpose of the call.
The dockets that had been removed. That sounds very strange in the context of what was happening for him to have said that. I find it difficult to follow what you mean by that.
I can't quote him verbatim. Oh, your light is on, sorry.
Sorry?
Your light is on, sir. Now, I'm assuming you're still
We
talking.
always keep the lights on, please. We are not about to change that.
No,
okay, I'm done now. Please speak. I'm not going to switch off my
No,
mic.
Justice,
I'm done now. Please speak.
No, I'm not
Thank you.
asking that you switch
Yes.
off. I'm just saying that I keep interrupting
Okay.
you. So,
All right,
So,
please
so
go on.
I can't quote you verbatim what he said, but he told me that he was here to investigate the dockets that I had alleged had gone missing. That was the conversation. It wasn't a long conversation, but that was the conversation. I just felt that I shouldn't trust him.
And why did you not relate that to the minister? Because you now say, he said the dockets that you had complained had been removed. Why did you not relate that to the very complaint, underlying complaint, which you yourself referred to? Why did you not relate that to the complaint that you had laid only the previous day with the minister?
I don't have a reason, Chairperson. I didn't. I should have. I didn't, and I should have.
That takes us back to the point made by Commissioner Baloyi about you not taking up an offer of assistance. Yes, Mr. Segal.
And in fact, Mr. Adams, we dealt with it on the 3rd of November in that same schedule, the 5th block at 17:11 to 19:21, WhatsApp messages between Mr. Adams and Colonel Phillip. The second paragraph, request from Mr. Adams for letter from Minister to SAPS, image of email received sent to Mr. Adams. So there was an engagement as to you were either questioning why he's investigating it, which would have been legitimate request, or he was telling you, I've been asked to investigate this. It's a request that comes from the minister, and you requested that letter that the minister had sent to SAPS. And according to him, he sent it to you, he sent an image of it, and you told us that you don't dispute anything in the schedule.
I did confirm that did one of the commissioners speak? I did confirm that I asked him for a letter.
And you did get it, an image.
When you say that this might have been, I need to check. He probably would have sent it. So yeah, so I'm going to concede that. I'm not going to dispute that. And I said earlier, just going through my memory bank, some of these things just pop up. Yes, it happened. Yes, it happened. Some of the things I don't think I'm familiar with. However, I'm not going to call this man a liar because of what I can't remember.
Because he isn't lying. He sent it to you. We could understand if you were concerned about why he's investigating, but now by the 3rd, that's resolved. He's even sent you the office of the minister's request to SAPS to investigate it. So let's not go back to that. Now the question is, on the 10th of November, you say to the minister, I want my dockets to be investigated by an independent body. I asked you, at that stage, you didn't yet know the outcome of the process that you initiated on the 1st of November. So now you're asking the minister for something else when you don't even know what's the outcome of the first investigation. Or did you already know what the outcome of the first investigation was?
I had no idea about that. It was not relayed to me.
Okay. So when you're asking the minister now for this investigation, you say it's because of the answers that were given by General Masemola at the Portfolio Committee
Yes, ma'am.
about General Madondo.
I think it was General Madondo and General Kumalo.
So you want your dockets now to be investigated, not by SAPS. You're asking the Minister of Police to take, not to have your criminal cases investigated by SAPS. You want it investigated. He must have it investigated by someone else.
I'm asking for help, yes.
But on what basis do you ask him for such a request? You're a complainant. You've already used your proximity to the minister to get this investigation about your unfounded allegations of missing dockets. That is being investigated. And now you're saying, in fact, I don't even want my actual criminal cases investigated by SAP. Somebody else must investigate it. And you as the minister must facilitate that.
I wouldn't say I said that. But what I'm asking if this thing can be taken outside of the SAPS. And even as I sit here, knowing what I know now, my actions may not have been justified. I'm not here to deny that. I'm looking at everything that's before me. Understand the outcome of this investigation was not relayed to me. It was not relayed to me. So when I'm emailing the minister right here, I don't know about it. I don't know that General Jacobs' office is involved in this. I don't know these things.
Were you ever informed of the outcome of your complaint?
It was brought up in the police portfolio I wouldn't say much later, but a little bit later.
Still in November?
Can I not commit on a date? I'm going to lie to you.
Okay. Was it before or after you went to IDAC?
It might well have been before. I can't tell you.
I suspect that it was
It might
before.
well have been, yes.
Because that's why you go to IDAC, because you're not happy with the outcome of an investigation that you asked the minister to initiate into your allegations, where the inspectorate now says that actually, according to their assessment of your cases, there's no merit to these cases, right? You're not happy with that. That's on the 20th of November. The report is on the 20th of November. You're not happy with that. So on the 21st of November, there's a Section 27 affidavit with IDAC, referral with IDAC.
So I've asked the minister for assistance. The minister has referred the matter to IDAC. That's how I end up there. It's not that I wasn't happy with the issue. If the minister was unhappy was happy with the outcome of the report, he only needed to say to me. He didn't. There was no communication between myself and the minister about that. So for me, I'm understanding what you're saying, and I'm looking at the confusion, and I'm saying to myself, this is a headache.
Like Mr. Adams to do is to tell us how he ends up communicating with IDAC, as opposed to it being put to him that he went on a certain date, because it's still not clear to me how he ends up communicating with IDAC.
Correct.
And I would like to hear from him.
Yes.
The minister's office, I think it was Mr. Nkabendi again, sent us an email or copied us in on an email where they are referring this issue to the IDAC.
So you got to know from Mr. Nkabinde that the minister's office is referring the matter to IDAC?
I think it was Mr. Nkabinde that sent the email, yeah, but we are copied in on the email.
Yes.
And that is how my conversation with IDAC begins.
And can you fly that letter? We saw it in MK15. I think it's 10 MK16. Page 10. Dated 11 November 2024.
Oh, we
Page
do,
310 of the MK. Yeah.
It's 4004 of your bundle 9B.
9B.
Ms. Dube, can you run with it from here?
4004.
Yes. Do you have it?
I have it, thank you.
That's the referral request. Attached here to please find for ease of reference a copy of written correspondence addressed to the Minister by Member of Parliament, Honourable Fadil Adams. The allegations contained therein implicate very serious senior members of SAPS and are viewed in a serious light, and case dockets were registered per the following. And then it gives your Langlaagte and Orlando dockets. And then it says, due to the nature of the allegations made by the Honourable Fadil Adams, which is deemed to be quite sensitive and which contains allegations of criminal misconduct, this office requests the investigating director to consider investigating the same. Honourable Fadil Adams was advised by this office to await your decision in this regard. And it's signed by Mr. Nkabinde, 11/11/2024. Is that the letter that you say you would have received?
This is the letter that I see.
Okay. So you say the minister is the one that, the minister's office.
The minister's office referred me to IDAC.
And then what was your involvement? When do you get involved?
I couldn't even tell if it was the same day or the next day. I Googled IDAC. I called their office and I said the minister's referred a complaint, and the person I spoke to said to me, no, if the minister has referred, you can be assured that we'll call you back. But I don't have a reference. You've not given me a reference number or nothing, so I don't know how to act. But rest assured, sir, that if indeed the minister has referred this, we will get back to you. And they duly did.
Can I just check, looking at the dates, your letter of the 10th and Mr. Nkabinde's letter of the 11th, he must have acknowledged and told you that he's referring to IDAC, and he's referred to IDAC, and you must now wait for their decision. He must have told you that. He responded to you.
I don't recall him telling me he's referring to IDAC. I know this is. I know I received this. I can check.
No, I'm talking even before you received this letter, because in that page 4005, he says, Honorable Adams was advised by this office to await your decision in this regard. And so I'm saying that line means that after he received your complaint, he told you that we are referring to IDAC and you must wait for their response, otherwise that line...
I actually don't... Sorry, Commissioner. I don't recall receiving such correspondence, Commissioner. I can't recall, unless he's advising me in this email by copying me in on it, but I don't recall an email from him saying we are referring the matter to the IDAC. I don't recall that.
You don't discount it. What do you mean when you say I don't recall? Are you saying he's incorrect to say that you were advised to await the decision of IDAC?
I would not say it's incorrect. I'm saying that he may have sent such an email, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I may be wrong.
I thought you said this letter was an attachment to an email sent to you.
No, I'm copied in on this email.
No, this is a letter. Where is the email that you say you are copied in on?
I can provide it to the Commission.
Yes.
I can.
But the point is this, that this letter that we are looking at was an attachment. You got it by way of an email.
Yes.
And there was an email where Mr. Nkabinde would have said something to you.
I'm trying to think, like I told Commissioner Baloyi now, I actually don't remember such correspondence. All of this was printed by my office, my back office, but I can call them lunchtime and ask them, guys, is there anything like that?
But it's safe to assume that if somebody is attaching a letter to an email, then the body of the email would refer to the contents of the letter.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Adams, I really can't keep up with the various versions that you're giving. Then there's also the complication of the version that you gave to ad hoc regarding this. Can I take you to 4049 of 9B? It's the transcript. Do you have it? 4049.
I do.
The last paragraph. This is you, Mr. Adams. General Lincoln said to me that if this is what they have done, they are going to cover this thing up. I asked him, General, what do we do? He said, you walk away. I said, why? He said, because people are going to die before this thing goes to court. I said, General, are you serious? He said, 100%. I said, I am not going to walk away, and I am certainly not scared of death. What do I do? He said, son, you open this docket. You open these dockets, these cases in another province. Let us see what happens. I flew to Johannesburg, and I opened the case, the same cases at Orlando and Langlaagte police stations. But when I was there, I waited. I made it clear I was not going to leave until I received my case numbers because I wanted this thing registered. Once that was done, the very next day, I emailed the minister, the suspended minister Mkhunu, and I said to the minister that my dockets have been irregularly collected here in Cape Town because I'm complaining to the minister. I did not know what course of action the minister would take, but I did demand from the minister that someone outside the SAPS investigate this case. General Lincoln gave me a telephone number for the IDAC, which I contacted. I cannot remember who I spoke to, but I was contacted by Brigadier Perumal, and not the very next day, or maybe the day after that, by the IGI of Intelligence, Mr. Imtiaz Fazil. He asked me about the case I had laid. Now, where does General Lincoln now come into this? Because you say, here you don't mention that the office of the minister referred the matter to IDAC and copied you in that email, which you've just